Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am recording on my roof right now, so please bear with me. I just switched spots, re-recording the entire video, but we're trying out something different. Today we're going to be talking about decision making. And when it comes to decision making, there's one piece of advice that seems to be told by almost everyone. Don't base your decisions on emotions. Don't trust your feelings. Never make a decision while you're emotional. Now, if you're more of a thinker or a T in the MBTI, this might sound like amazing advice to you. You love basing your decisions on logic, making a pro-con list, and talking through every angle of the problem to make sure nothing was missed in your thought process. While if you were a feeler or an F in the MBTI, this might be advice that has constantly hung over your head. Don't be so emotional. Stop making such rash decisions. Do you ever think before you act? The reality is that this one piece of advice actually has an extremely negative impact on your life. Let's start by talking about how this piece of advice came to be. I can't be 100% certain, of course, but considering my parents and my grandparents and their grandparents love saying this one, I can be pretty sure it's been around for quite a while. But the thing is, times have changed. The progression of society, technology in the digital age has brought some bad, but also a whole lot of good. Hate your job? Browse LinkedIn for over 15 million open job listings. Hate where you live? Between YouTube and Google Maps alone, you can explore a new city virtually before you ever decide to move. Having trouble meeting the right guy or girl? Join a dating app to start connecting with people that you otherwise never would have run into in your day-to-day life. Our options are endless, which may cause analysis paralysis or decision fatigue, but that's for another video. The point is, there's no longer any reason to stay stuck doing something that you hate. There's always a small step you could take to start on a new path. So why are so many people miserable in their current life? I believe it's because we are all prescribing to the ignore your feelings advice when it comes to making any changes in our life. As we reach adulthood, move out on our own, and face individual hardship, those older than us, whether family members, coworkers, friends, are responding to our life issues and concerns with, well, that's what being an adult is. Yeah, it really sucks. Trust me, I know. We just have to deal with it. A quick Google search of basing decisions on feelings brings up tons of results of articles deterring us from ever considering our emotions or feelings while trying to make a decision. 4 ways emotions can screw up your decisions. 6 ways to control your emotions and make better decisions. How to avoid making decisions based on feelings. 6 ways emotions can cloud your judgment. There's even pages and pages of Pinterest quotes on the subject. Now, I'm not telling you to start quitting your job during an argument with a coworker, breaking up with your partner over an emotional moment, or packing up your entire life and moving on a whim. But ignoring our emotions, avoiding our feelings, and trying to control them is not the answer. And it's not just because we all need to be better at actually processing our emotions. Have you ever heard someone talk about their intuition? Maybe you have a friend who is really good at reading other people, or maybe you yourself tend to have a bad feeling about a situation right before things go south. Well, your intuition is something that most agree should not be ignored. A quick Google search of basing decisions off of intuition brings up some very different results. 4 leaders who won by following their instincts. How intuition helps us make better decisions. Is gut instinct better than data? Spoiler alert, that article says yes, it is. There are even studies that have been done that show that making decisions based off of instincts leads to better overall outcomes. The problem here is that intuition and emotions are both feelings that go through your body. If you aren't careful, you will consistently ignore your intuition, consider it to just be emotions, and never consider it in your decision making. If you don't learn to trust your intuition and train yourself to actually listen to it, you will always be missing out on the most helpful voice that can aid you in all of your tough decisions, your own. So how do you distinguish between your emotions and intuition? When you're first starting out, the easiest way is to consider the length of the feeling. Emotions are temporary. They're based on current and present events. For example, you get in a huge fight with your best friend, you're really angry for a bit, you say some things you wish you wouldn't have said, but then the feeling passes. You and your friend have a follow-up combo, apologies are spoken, and you move on. The feeling disappears. Your intuition, on the other hand, tends to stick around. You meet someone and get a very off feeling about them. The next time you see them, it's still there, and again, and again, and again. A more dramatic example from my personal experience was the decision to quit my job. The first 6 months at my job, there were quite a few days when I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to quit on the spot, but the feeling would pass and I would have weeks where it would never show up again. My last 2 months at my job, however, were filled with this sense of knowing that it was time for me to leave. The feeling didn't leave. There were still very emotional days when I wanted to just quit on the spot. But even once those emotions left, that feeling in the pit of my stomach never left. I just felt like something was off and I couldn't exactly explain it. Which brings me to the second way to distinguish between your emotions and intuition. Completely ignore the feelings altogether. The thing about intuition is sometimes you just know something to be the case, but you can't place exactly how you know. There isn't an exact emotion to describe it. It's not anger, sadness, excitement, or anything. It's just a gut feeling. So how do you train yourself to start listening to your own intuition? What if you don't ever get gut feelings or just feelings that seem to stick around for a while? That's a bit more in depth and honestly requires a whole separate video. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss when that video goes live. So my question for you today is, have you ever been told to ignore your feelings when it comes to decision making? And how do you feel about that advice now? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's start a conversation and talk about emotional decision making. That is all I have for you guys in today's video. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.